Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let Loose with Moose. Today I have MTS with me, also known as MatrixTheSun. Hey MTS, how are you doing?
Hey, sup, man? Glad to be here.
Happy to have you on, right? Have been interacting with you quite a bit on Twitter, right? But haven't had a chance to speak to you, so looking forward to our chat.
Yeah, man.
So without further ado, could we jump right into your crypto origin story, like how you got started, and maybe you can share a little bit about your background as well.
All right. Yep. So currently still studying in business school and just basically a university student. And then I started crypto. I think it was in late 2020 slash early 2021. I first got into investing slash trading kind of thing. So yeah, back then I was totally clueless, right? So I installed this random broker called Trading 212, and it was actually meant for like trading CFDs. So it's something like trading contracts. You don't really get to buy actual shares or coins on it. Yeah, but then I had no idea, right? So I just it was the first broker I saw on the App Store and just installed it. And then after that I saw that there was this section called crypto, and there was like, if I remember correctly, Bitcoin, Monero, and XRP. It was quite limited, and then but at that time I didn't know, right? So I was just like, oh shit, what's all this like Bitcoin thing about, you know? And then I started like trading it a bit on the Trading 212 app, and then eventually it piqued my curiosity. I was like thinking, "Oh, what exactly am I even buying actually?" So I guess the first thing I did was I don't know why, but like I thought like Reddit was the best source for finding info about crypto. I mean now I think most of us natives will know that Reddit is like probably the worst place. But yeah, I went on to r slash cryptocurrency, and then I read up a little bit about what's Bitcoin, what's Ethereum, and stuff like that. And then after that, since 2021, it was like the raging bull. Then I downloaded my first crypto broker. It was Binance, and then started trading on it. I was buying shit like I think Polkadot and Zilliqa. Yeah, I don't even know if that's still alive today. But then yeah, after a while, I was like doing crazy shit on Binance, trading like 25x leverage, 10x leverage every day.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, towards closer to the end of 2021, I saw like Luna at 20 to $30 around there. And I was thinking like, oh shit, this looks quite cool. So what is it about? I think it was like one of the top gainers that day. So like I went to look up on it, and then they were saying like, oh, this does like decentralized money, you know, it gives out this stable coin that is supposedly like not censorable and is able to scale very well because it's an algorithmic coin, right? So you can keep minting it and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh shit, it sounds pretty cool. So I started like buying into Luna. And then when I first got into crypto Twitter, like all I saw was like people talking about Luna, how it would go to like $100, $200. And I was like, holy shit, you know, I need to be getting into this, man. It sounds like it's gonna make me a lot of money. So I bought a shit ton of it at around 30 plus bucks. And I was on leverage, so like okay, I have no idea why I did that, but I thought it was a good idea to just all in on Luna on leverage. The leverage was insanely high. It was at least 10 or 20x.
Mm-hmm.
So I all in at like $30 plus. And then like you know, cause the market was in uptrend, right? So it just like $30 plus, it didn't really go back down then. It just kept going up. And then $30 plus went to like 70, 80 eventually. I think in November or December it hit like $100. And then I was like pretty like I guess rich at that time. especially because I was still a student. And then I was like, holy shit, like, am I actually a genius or something? Like, I made so much fucking money at that time. And then I think around, I held, I didn't really hold that position. I actually started to close that position out, but I went back on chain and bought Luna like spot because back then I think like the trend for like Luna maxis was to actually go on Anchor protocol and
Mm-hmm.
collateralize your Luna and loan UST. Like it was just the cool thing to do back then for
Yep.
absolutely I mean not sure why, but yeah. And
Because of the
then
19% savings.
yeah, ninety
Quote.
percent
Yeah, I quote
APY.
savings. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, back then everybody was like, that's that's the thing for retirement, passive income. I think they were like freaking like random people that you would never see or never think that they will come into crypto. Like they will tell you things about Anchor protocol. Like I was thinking like where did they even heard of this? But then back then I didn't know like there was actually a sort of like a bear slash bearish thing, like top signal kind of thing. Yeah, so I didn't see much of it. So I was having my Luna on Anchor loaning out until like one day, obviously there was this like horrible UST pack in the May May 9 or some shit. Then like yeah, like I got liquidated so badly. Think yeah, my account like hundreds of thousands of dollars were wiped out in like matter of minutes. And then I just sat there looking at the computer screen like, what the fuck just happened? Like the USD just fucking go to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I got lost for that because like I didn't actually manage to save any of the money from Luna because I was just panicking, and then I also didn't know like whether to buy, whether to sell. So I legit just sat in front of the computer and did fuck all and watched as everything went to zero. And so
Man.
yeah, that's how I blew up everything in crypto. And then the next 3 months, I was just depressed slash shocked, I guess. Yeah, I didn't do. Yeah, I couldn't really do anything in real life. I was just like, just freaking traumatized, I guess. Yeah, and then I was just scrolling Twitter here and there, and then everybody was like the same, they were posting depressing stuff and all that. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I already got myself into crypto, and then why not like just continue giving it a go, right? Like Luna already collapsed, like so what's the next worst thing that could happen? So I got myself a research internship at some crypto startup, wrote a few articles and there, and then I think around that time was also when I started writing a little bit on my Twitter, not as much as now, definitely. Yeah, I was just writing random DeFi threads like Torchain and stuff. And then after that, after the, or rather like close to the end of the internship, it was around November when FTX started collapsing. And I was like, holy shit, yeah, indeed, worse things can happen after Luna has collapsed. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then at that time, even the OGs like Kobe, like they were thinking, like, holy shit, this might actually be over. Like this is it for crypto. It's fucking over. And then I was thinking, like, holy shit, if, like even the older people in crypto are like thinking this, then like what the fuck am I still doing in crypto, right? Like I should just go back to like normal banking and finance or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like why am I still trying to find a career in crypto? But then I'm not sure why. Like I think it was just like sort of easy to convince me to still stay in crypto. I just like read a few threads about why some people thought like it was the absolute bottom for Bitcoin and ETH after the FTX collapse. Like they were saying like, oh, this is literally like the bottom, like Bitcoin will never go lower, and like here's the thread of why here are the bottom signals. Then you got like random TradFi guys saying like Bitcoin will never come back, things like that. Then I read the threads and I was like, okay, you know what? They kind of got a point. So like they literally could not get any worse. Like there's just no way, right? So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I will just put back whatever money I had earned from my internship, and then like just if this is the bottom, and then that would be great, right? Like I would have literally bought the bottom, and then if this is not, then like fuck it, I will legit quit crypto forever. So I just did that. I think around December or January of this year, I just put in whatever savings I had from my internship, and then yeah, luckily it was actually indeed the bottom, and then started trading more often. I was doing a lot of rotations in the first half of the year when I was doing my public portfolio challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of rotations, and started becoming more outspoken on CT. Started writing more threads, more long form posts and stuff. And then yeah, I guess that's about it. That's where I am now. Like let me to where I am now.
Man, I think that's a really what's the word for it, man? It's a really rich experience in that short 2 years, man. Like you went from I don't know how much did you start with when you were longing that Luna on Binance.
I think I started with around 10-20K, and then I went to a peak about close to half a mil.
Damn.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
crazy.
that all just vanished in front of your eyes in minutes.
Yeah.
Man. Right, and then you went on to getting a crypto internship. Then you got the FTX collapse, did some more writing, and now we are back here. Right, it's like one whole cycle. It's complete now. Back to
Yeah,
your
man.
20K to half a mil challenge again.
Yeah, man. Hopefully more, hopefully more.
Honestly, I'm sure you think you can do it, right? Like now that you have more experience and more knowledge and all.
Yeah, actually, I do think I definitely can do it and do it better. I would say I'm definitely quite lucky in the sense that I was able to make back quite a bit of the money. I mean, it's not like I made back to my portfolio all-time high. Unfortunately, I'm still far from that, but definitely made back a decent chunk
Mm-hmm.
and a good enough amount to start like the next bull run, or like rather the early coming of the bull run, right, in 2024 or 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. And you also mentioned your trading challenge earlier, and how you kind of move from narrative to narrative. So we'll get into the trading challenge later. But first, I want to talk a bit more about your narrative, right? Because you mentioned it's in your Twitter bio, like you're a narrative trader. Do you want to run us through what is a narrative and why do you call yourself a narrative trader?
Well, I don't really have like a sophisticated meaning for what is a narrative, but like in my mind, when somebody tells me like, oh, there's narrative A now or narrative B, it sort of tells me that this is what the market is looking at now or looking towards to. So let's say like we are talking about AI narrative, right? So it means like it could either mean that the market is already engaging in this narrative, meaning that there is already a basket of AI coins that is already grown quite large, or it could mean that we are sort of predicting that this sort of AI narrative is going to come into fruition, and then we are still early in it, like early to go into it. Yeah. So why do I call myself a narrative trader? Because I think that this was something that actually my cousin asked me about. He asked me like how do we know what to actually buy in crypto? And I tell him that it's actually really different from things like stocks, because in things like stocks you have very tangible items. You have the supermarkets, so like things like Walmart. Then you probably got some tech companies here and there. You got Apple. They all sell like real goods, right, or services. And then in crypto, mostly everything is virtual, unless we're talking very specifically like RWAs. But yeah, mostly everything is virtual. So plus it's so young of an industry that you don't know like what exactly is gonna stick. So that is why I think being a narrative trader or recognizing narratives is very important, because every now and then people would come up with an idea, or sort of like what we will call a narrative, whereby they will say, "Oh, this is the thing that's gonna float. This is the thing that crypto is made for." So for now, let's say it's AI, right? So decentralized AI and crypto is the way to go. So that's his narrative now. Yeah. So we need to like be able to recognize this and just sort of go with the flow, and then we need to be a good narrative trader in the sense that we know when we are early into it and when we are late into it. Because after all, since crypto is so young, right, we are not sure whether the actual like decentralized AI narrative for this example is actually gonna stick for the next couple of years or even decades. Like, is a real use case that crypto really has? So I think that's why we call it a narrative. So it is something that is not too solid, but it is an idea that the market is thinking towards to. Yeah, hopefully
Mm.
that's sounded clear enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair enough, right? It's more of like where the money is flowing into, right? And I mean, in many such times, many or most of the so-called narrative protocols might not even have like a working product, right? Like they could say that they are doing ABC, but you wouldn't even know if they are doing that, right? We're just buying into to the hype. It's like pure speculation. And I think one point you mentioned earlier is about when a friend tells you, oh, this is a narrative that is currently happening or like upcoming, right? And you mentioned being spotting whether we are like early into the narrative or like not so early. Like, so my question then would be, how do you make this differentiation?
I think currently, how do we know we are early into a narrative? One good way would be to spot the sentiment of it on Twitter, because what I've realized so far, at least for this year, a lot of the narratives being discussed, like you would see them around like a certain network of people. At least if you've been hanging around uh, a lot of Telegram groups a lot, I think most of the narratives actually comes from people discussing like what's next, what's gonna happen. And then when you don't actually see these same discussions being propped up on Twitter, that's when you will know that actually you are indeed quite early into this specific narrative. And then we also like to think like how do we know we are sort of late? One good example I think I can remember off my head was uh, late in the sense where we are also considering like things like mm, uh, sort of like temporary top. It doesn't necessarily mean that late just means that we are truly like this is the final ending for that narrative. But yeah, I guess it will be hard to differentiate that. But so one of the signals that I actually found out was like I think it was sometime last year or maybe it was early this year. But Justin Sun, like the Tron founder, he he actually talked about like bringing AI onto Tron or something. I think that was what actually marked the top of the AI cycle. Yeah, I think it was actually early this year, back when uh I think it was one of the first times where the AI narrative actually popped out in crypto. So that was actually a good way to see that we were late, because we saw how older protocols also wanted to jump on the newer narratives. Yeah, I think that was one of the best ways I've seen so far to tell how we are truly like very late into the narrative. But in that case, actually, it just marked a temporary talk for AI, and then now we see how AI narrative came back. So that's another way, not really to say that, not really to tell whether we are early or late into the narrative, but more so it shows the longevity of the narrative and like its legitimacy to actually continue into the bull. So I guess AI narrative now is for this example, right? AI narrative now is the like legit narrative that we will be seeing into the bull run as well, because of how it has experienced like already its sort of second cycle, first time in the first half of 2023, and then again coming back in the Q4 of 2023. Yeah.
So it's a bit more like um ideas being discussed in a more personal way before you start seeing it on CT, right, where everyone is just talking about making threads about like, oh, top 10 AI projects, for example, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, got it. And I mean, since you mentioned AI, right, what are some of the other narratives that you are currently bullish on moving into 2024?
I think building on the point where I talk about how the narrative shows longevity by appearing again, I would say that will actually make GameFi one of the stronger narratives, or at least one that I like more. Because like what I've said, it does actually show longevity. We saw that GameFi was one of the strongest narratives in 2021. It was like around late 2021 it started popping up. And then after it was dead for like a year-ish. And now we see that it actually managed to re-emerge. So I think when a narrative re-emerges, like it's a good signal to show that the narrative is strong and is likely to stay. So GameFi is actually one of my favorite narratives now. I think it also definitely has good reason to be as well. We saw a lot of VC investments into GameFi back in 2021 and 2022 before everything collapsed. So there is actually a lot of financial incentive for all these institutional investors to actually build up these GameFi projects that they have invested in and actually try to make a profit out of them when the bull actually comes. And secondly, gaming, it actually requires like years of development. So back in 2021, why GameFi didn't really do well, because you just went there and try to earn some money. You didn't really care what the game was, because the game was like too shit to play with anyway. And then now we see that 2 years after, we see, I think we see it most clearly with Illuvium, where they've actually managed to build up a proper looking like game that actually deserves to be called a game. And I expect to see this with a lot of other gaming projects that have been building in silence in the bear, and will finally showcase their product maybe late this year, maybe next year, maybe 2025. Yeah. So that's why I feel GameFi is one of the best narratives, and also I think having confluence with the uh so-called like Web2 traditional side of the world is a good thing as well, because gaming is still a very hot thing in the traditional world. We have the GTA 6 very hype launch
Mhm.
coming sometime in 2025. Then we have gaming companies like Roblox and making tons of money off gaming, so it's an easy extrapolation, I feel. Yeah, that's why I feel GameFi is my next best narrative, or my favorite narrative rather. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Remember back in 2021, most of the, I mean, GameFi kind of just popped off mainly because of like P2E, like Axie Infinity, right, where people are able to play games and earn money, right? And then a lot of P2Es came about, popped up everywhere, and most of them couldn't deliver, or rather like the hype died down as they were taking the time to build the so-called game. Um, and of course could not replicate the success of Axie Infinity, or in fact none. And I like how you mentioned Illuvium as well, right? Because back then, remember, IMX was the really hyped so-called layer one for gaming, right? It was supposed to be the gaming chain. Every game's gonna launch on IMX and blah blah blah. And it kind of, it had, if you look at the price chart, right? If I'm not wrong, it's a really huge pump and dump in a sense, right? But I'm glad to see them still around, and they're still building things, right? Then as a follow up, then, because since so many such games are appearing now, we have like over 10 games on AVEX, we have Treasure DAO on Arbitrum, we have Illuvium, IMX and all. How are you gonna like assess which is your so called pick for within the narratives?
Okay. Personally, I didn't look too much into like the so-called traditional GameFi style, like play to earn, normal play to earn games kind of thing. For me, I felt that a lot of these games that they were building in GameFi, some of, or rather a lot of them, they are like copies of popular Web2 games like Pokemon and
Mm-hmm.
what was that? Brawl Stars. I don't know why, but like a lot of the games like to copy these two. Yeah, especially the styling and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really like that. So like personally for me, I'm actually investing more in the infra of GameFi, as well as things that I find to be more unique. So like one of it I can think of, like something that's more unique would be Crown. So Crown is this horse racing game on Solana. And why I say that it is more unique would be because they actually combine horse betting with like just a normal horse racing game, right? So it works exactly like as if you were gambling on horses in real life, except that it's just within the game itself. So I find that such like unique combinations is quite good because the addiction or the addictiveness of gambling together with the gaming component, it fuses quite well, which is why I'm interested in that project. And then the next one is this one called Dubs. So what Dubs does is they provide the infrastructure, or rather an SDK for Web2 games to actually adopt it and become a Web3 game. So what they do is they use dApps, and then they are able to convert their gaming into something that is Web3, or they can implement like competition into it, and money can be wagered on their games. So I like that. I like this type of infra play. And then I think another the last GameFi play I have is this one called Root. So it's basically a layer one network that is actually backed by Ripple. So actually, I'm not sure why. I have not actually seen anybody on CT talking about it at all, even though it's backed by big names as a huge Series A, I think almost $55 million. And then it's basically a layer one build, a bit like IMX, I would say, but perhaps a bit broader. It's built for like a metaverse slash GameFi kind of thing. And since it's quite new, and I think that being backed by Ripple, they will be able to somehow appeal to the normies for this. And yeah, I like that as a GameFi player as well. Yeah, so that's my
Ooh,
thoughts.
nice. Does that mean that we are gonna be early from Matrix's shield right here.
Yeah, actually, I have not actually talked about it much. I probably only mentioned it once on my Twitter. I was wondering why nobody else is mentioning it though. Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess CD is just more focused on other narratives now, maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
just not this particular pick. But yeah,
Yeah, well, maybe it's worth taking some time to look into it, right? I mean, it's the first time I'm hearing it as well, so thanks for sharing that.
yeah, man, no problem.
Right, I think we are mostly done with narratives. Before I move on to the next topic, do you have anything else to that you want to add on to the narrative side of things?
Narrative side of things, I think. There's just one more thing I want to add. Would be it's more of like a personal reflection. Actually, I'm not sure if this will actually be helpful to anyone. But then, one of the narratives I really missed out this year that I feel cost me probably like the largest potential profits is BRC 20.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just did not expect it to be that big. Like I thought, like why would anybody want to do anything on Bitcoin network when it will probably even be slower than Ethereum? Okay, maybe this is technically wrong, but I'm sure it will definitely not be as fast as the other chains like
Have you tried?
Solana or Avalanche. No, I actually have not tried, but I heard
Uh,
gas fees are quite high on there too, at least from what my friend is showing.
it
Yeah, have you
actually
tried it?
is, yeah, it actually is pretty slow. Like I think it takes can't remember, like 30 minutes or 1 hour for confirmation. So I tried to buy one of those BRC 20 NFTs, right? Then as I
Ah,
logged on to the website, I could see the marketplace. You will see the listings on the floor, and you can't buy them because they are pending confirmation. So like you'll see this spinning wheel, right, like the loading screen button, just spinning and spinning on that particular listing, but you can't click it because it's someone has clicked the buy button, right? But then it's not confirmed yet. Like transaction has to be confirmed, and if I'm not wrong, based on my knowledge, it could be wrong. Bitcoin takes six. It takes at least six confirmations, six blocks to be known as immutable, right? And then each block is about 10 minutes to be mined, which is why you get that 60-minute confirmation period. So it does take time. In fact, when I was transferring my funds from, I think from Binance, all right, to the BRC wallet, and then I could see from Binance side it was out, and then I saw the money was shown in my Sats wallet, but then when I want to try to click buy on the NFT marketplace, it says that I don't have funds. But I'm so confused, right? Because I see the number in my Sats wallet, but when I check the marketplace, it says that I don't have funds. So I'm thought like, shit, did something go wrong here, man? But end up, yeah, it just takes some time. After I wait for like another 30 minutes or total like 1 hour waiting time, then I could buy because it's confirmed to be in my wallet there.
okay, okay. Wow,
So yeah,
okay.
that's that. So I totally understand, right? Really didn't expect BRC to be so big as well, especially after seeing movie run, right? Like shout out to Small SM, right? He's the one that called that movie really early on, and I saw it and I was like, huh, it's in the millions already. It's probably not gonna run too much more. I faded it, and now look at where it is, man.
Yeah, man, I saw it at like 5 million market cap. And I was like, the bridge to BRC, like who? It's a bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like thinking, who needs a bridge to BRC? Who's actually gonna use it, right? But yeah, like thinking back, I mean, it is quite hindsight thinking, but like a lot of, I don't know, a lot of things in crypto feels like if you if you try to so-called mid curve it, or rather you try to think in a rather logical sense, I guess, and you will actually like missed out a lot. And then I don't know, a lot of ideas in crypto actually start out to be very contrarian, I suppose. I guess the lesson here is I should have just been more open-minded. But yeah, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always both sides, right? Like, obviously sometimes just closing your eyes, like spray and pray works, right? Like if you landed that one movie and you could hold on all the way, or like the Bong for example, right? Have you seen the tweet? I think from the Laureate Labs,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
From
yeah.
from like
I
what
saw it.
$16 I think to 10 million or something like that.
Is it Lolly himself or is it his
Uh,
member in his
it's
group?
it's some NFT gated group of his, so probably like a, I don't know, maybe a community fund thing or something. I'm not sure.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I was thinking like whether it was actually Lolly himself holding the trade or he's just showing like
I
one
mean,
of his group members' performance. But yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
We know that guy is rich now, so yeah. He looks like he's gonna hold it for longer actually, which I
yeah,
like it,
probably
yeah.
probably just doing it for the lols. Like he
I
doesn't need
mean
that.
if it works then yeah. Kudos to him for getting that 10 million USD PNL picture. That's super crazy.
Yeah, I mean, given my paper hands, I would never have reached that with not with that $16 or something. I would have taken out with like a 5x, 10x. Leave a small moon bag, but that moon bag wouldn't hit like 10 million for sure.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, then I want to move on, right? Since you mentioned earlier about the trading challenge, you did pretty well. I remember from that period that you were doing updating daily, and then moving on to weekly updates, right? And you kind of stopped doing that trading challenge. Any plans to bring it back sometime in future?
Yeah, at first I did it. I actually can't really remember the reason why I wanted to do it anyway, but then I did it, and then there was a lot of round tripping, up and downs. It was like crazy. At first, I did really well, and then towards the end, I think it was like market downturn or something. I think sometime in August or September, like the market just wasn't doing that great. So like there wasn't really much trades that I could take either. So I decided to scrap it then. Yeah, wasn't doing that well too, gotta admit. Then after that, I decided that since I knew that, or rather I'm confident that the bull is gonna come anyway, I think it would have been better to just sort of do like a diamond hand portfolio, uh, more long-term holds kind of thing. Because I actually, or rather I've heard from more experienced people than me that they found such a portfolio to actually be usually more profitable than something that keeps rotating. They say like it's more of an anomaly for the a person to keep rotating and somehow to keep making money. Maybe it's better because in this year we were in the PVP mode, so like limited amount of capital, so you gotta keep rotating here and there. But then in easy mode, then yeah, they feel that a diamond hand portfolio is better. So I decided to pivot to that, and that is what I'm doing now. So I haven't really traded in the past 2 months. I've just been holding my bets, and if I ever get extra income, I just put it in my current bags or consider adding something new. And with regards to whether I would do it again, I'm guessing no. The main reason for that would actually be because I feel that during a trading challenge, you are pressurized to, or rather, like there is more incentive for you to actually do a trade even when you don't need to, because uh I actually found that if you don't actually do a trade, then it feels like there's nothing to post about, and
Mhm.
your trading challenge becomes like extremely boring. So you are actually incentivized to sort of show something. And then that is, but unfortunately, like I think most experienced investors that are good will actually tell you that you most of the time actually you are supposed to be doing nothing instead of doing something all the time, because if you keep doing something, then there's a higher probability of you like just screwing up, right, as like the number of moves increase. And like since the trading challenge encourages you to do that, and I think that it would not be the best for my P&L, since I would be more pressurized or rather incentivized to do more trades to sort of like, I guess, make the challenge more exciting or something, content that people actually want to see. And then another reason, which I also think is quite surprising to me actually, I only realized after I ended my trading challenge. I feel that it's a trading challenge is good to actually do for most people. I feel it actually helps to amplify your mistakes, because when you put your wallet out there and everybody is there to see and you are posting updates about it, you your mistakes become very obvious to you. Like you can instantly see like, oh, I did something wrong today, which is why today my portfolio is down XX amount, and it amplifies the mistakes and make it like more obvious for you to see. So you are easily able to spot your mistakes. But the thing is, as the trading challenge goes, right, you are still more incentivized to make more moves, as what I've mentioned previously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually no time in between the or within the trading challenge for you to actually go and rectify the mistakes that you have spotted. Like because yeah, because you actually need time to go through those mistakes and actually reflect about how they happen and try to stop it from happening again. But I feel that within the trading challenge, it is hard to do that. So it is good for spotting your flaws, but not for correcting your flaws. So yeah, I think it is still, yeah, it is not that good to do a public trading challenge for too long, obviously, unless you are like extremely good. But then if you are, then I don't know why you would bother doing a public trading challenge anyway, so that everybody can steal your alpha. So yeah, I guess I won't be doing it anymore. But I think it's a good try for most people, because it really will help you spot like what went wrong. It will force you to spot what went wrong. Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really valid points that you brought up there, right? For example, the need to update every day. Imagine like day one, buy Luna, right, and then day two, still holding 100% Luna. Day three, holding 100% Luna. With your example earlier enough, if you were doing the challenge, right, you probably would not have made as much as doing your 20x long on Luna and do nothing for that 1 week, 2 weeks straight, right? So I think
Yeah,
that's really
exactly.
valid points there. But I think people will not give a shit, right, for that few days, but then they will look at it and like, hey, wasn't this guy starting out with like 1K or 10K 1 week ago? Why is he like 100K right now, or like 1 week later, and he did nothing, right? I think maybe that would be a good opposite challenge for you, right? Instead of the rotation, you do a buy and hold and show everyone how much buying and holding can earn you.
Yeah, I think that would be good, but then there won't really be any need for regular updates, I'm guessing, because like in the middle, then it's like when there's absolutely nothing happening in between days, then you post it, and then yeah, like it becomes, I guess, more of a diary. Then like
Yeah,
nobody will really go and like it and stuff, because there's
yeah.
literally nothing happening, and then people only care like what you say, they only see the start and they see the end. So like day one, $100, day let's say 500, oh, it became 500K. But then in between there was like a whole lot of nothing going on. So yeah, it wouldn't be too fun to post about it. But I mean, yeah, could
Well,
definitely
you
still
could
be
try.
something for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, can
yeah,
definitely
you
still
could
be something.
try. Well, I'm not sure the crypto audience is the right one for this, right? Because everyone's just looking for the next shiny thing every other day, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
there is this. I've seen this guy within the stock market, right? So he does pretty concentrated positions. He's probably like 5 or 10 positions with a quite a huge portfolio. And what he does is he posts, I think, like end of month or like quarterly updates only. So he has a really good track record at that as well. So he's like moving from like SaaS companies like SaaS, right? Um and people actually look forward to his monthly updates, right, to see whether he's made any changes to his portfolio this month, or like let's say when there's a earnings call, right, then they'll be like, oh, I wonder if that guy did anything after the call or like before the earnings call, and let's look for his update at the end of the month, right? Because he's had such a good record. Whenever he makes a change, right, where he cuts a certain stock and then adds in a new stock, like everyone will still follow, even though it's not like as fast paced as crypto, right? Where we're moving every week or every day. Maybe it's something you could try. I don't know. Then we can see how it goes.
Definitely, definitely. I'll take it into consideration.
Yep. And then I think the next question I want to ask, right, is moving to 2024. What's your take on the markets in general? Where do you see us going?
Yeah, I think 2024 definitely a very bullish year. Why I say that is because firstly, I feel that in some way we actually have conditions similar to COVID. Of course, like we don't have the lockdowns and the very huge stimulus, but we do have the same commonalities. These include the election year, and we also have a stimulus, not as great as the other time where they cut rates down to basically negative, but yeah, we besides that, so besides the macro part, we also have the Bitcoin ETF, and then we also have the Bitcoin halving. So I think with all these factors in mind, 2024 is looking to be a very bullish year, uh, especially with the Bitcoin ETF. I think a lot of people they are focusing on the more short-term moves, right? Like they're thinking whether Bitcoin ETF is gonna sell the news, whether people is gonna buy the news, who cares about the ETF, things like that. But then I think they are discounting like sort of the effects or like after effects of the Bitcoin ETF because what having an ETF I think signifies is regulatory clarity on crypto. So this will actually mean there will be more like maybe stringent regulations, but at least there will be clear rules on like what to do in crypto, what not to do in crypto. So this will actually likely make it easier for funds to enter into crypto when previously they might have to take some awkward routes or they are probably just completely banned from crypto or they just avoid it totally because it's just very a very gray area, right? But now like let's say if they want a basic exposure to crypto, the easiest way is to go through the ETF, get some Bitcoin, and then I'm guessing slowly that will lead to also regulations on all the like how funds can trade or invest into altcoins, right, if they want to. So when they buy Bitcoin, then I think most of us will have heard of how the trickle down effect works in crypto. So like gains from Bitcoin go to Ethereum, Ethereum goes to like big caps go to mid caps and stuff like that. Bitcoin grows a lot, and then eventually there will be Bitcoin players who take profit into the Ethereum and down to the other alts as well. So I see the Bitcoin ETF as a huge plus to the entire crypto industry, not just Bitcoin itself. And then the macro factors I think are really nice too. Historically, election year is very bullish. Rate cuts are also bullish to a certain extent. I mean, some people argue that markets have crashed on rate cuts, but I think the situations are a bit different this time. So yeah.
All right, got it. And I love that, man. Definitely hope to see us. In the bull for a while. In fact, already. Definitely happy to be riding this whole cycle up, man, and see how it goes. And then thank you for sharing all this so far. Right now, I want to get to know a little bit more about yourself. So could you run us through a day in the life of MTS?
Day in the life. Yeah, nothing, nothing too spectacular, unfortunately or fortunately. So every time wake up, I I will check Twitter and then see like who's liking my post, who's commenting, blah blah blah. Then check. I actually have a few Twitter lists that I keep track of. So I think one Twitter list I have is made out of Twitter accounts of all the investments I've made. So like all the project, their main social page, I put it all in the one Twitter list. So this way it helps me to actually keep updated on what each project is doing, or rather like whether they are inactive or not. And then another list that I have is made out of so-called like traders or rather like people who I think are very good at looking at the market in a broader perspective. So whether they still think circumstances are bullish or not. And yeah, I think those two are the main Twitter lists I'll see. And then after that, I would actually these days, or rather last time, I would say that I probably will count my portfolio and stuff, or rather in bullish times, I will actually be counting it more. But then these days, I a little bit more hands off. I actually don't really be counting the total wallet value or whatever like every day. I probably do it like every 3 to 4 days. So just to make sure that everything is somewhat balanced. Nothing is sort of like outperforming way too much, such that it is now suddenly taking like half of my portfolio, or like nothing is underperforming like way too badly, that literally going to zero and things like that. Then so yeah, every few days now and then I would count the portfolio to make sure everything's good. Then after that, I would probably be on Telegram, see what's happening, and then talk to talk to a few clients here and there, because I do some writings for other protocols. And then I would be looking through Telegram chat, see what currently, because now I make more narrative watch lists. So basically, it's the long list with a lot of the tickers and Twitter pages where I list like all the basket of projects for like each narrative, like BRC20, GameFi, AI, stuff like that. So I usually on Telegram to see like what's what people are talking about more, so that I will post it on Twitter, and hopefully, it's something that people are more interested in, can get more engagement. And
Right, right.
then yeah, I think I'll wait until around at night when US market hours open. I think usually that's like so-called the more decisive time of the day where you can really tell where the market is going, where Bitcoin is headed to. I mean, not that I really need to, because I don't really day trade. But then, yeah, I guess it's just sort of a habit, you just want to see what's up.
Just want to see the numbers
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
Right, right.
think that's about it. Yeah.
Got it. Right. What about like some of your hobbies? Like anything in particular you enjoy?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I already rambled on about crypto. I yeah, I'm like a very, I mean, some people say like Discord mod type of guy. You just stay at home, do nothing. I don't go out a lot, like to activities like you would count as like, I guess, going out, like things like partying and stuff. I don't really do that. I I guess I do touch grass in the sense where I do go out to eat with friends and stuff. Yeah, but nothing crazy like going clubbing, drinking and all that. Yeah, I don't really, in fact, I don't drink alcohol much at all. Yeah, I just don't really like the taste of it. And then I go to the gym sometimes. Try to go consistently 3 times a week, but then yeah, I've been slacking off that lately. Yeah, so gotta get back. And then yeah, I watch a lot of anime at home. Yeah, been watching a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan too. Right, all right, got it. And then, I mean, from what I understand, you're still pretty young, right? But what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Yeah, so younger self, I would like the immediate thought of younger self would be myself in 2021. I think what I would really want to know back then would be risk management. So back then I didn't have any idea of like downside. So everything was like it will go up, it must go up, it has to go up. And you never really think like, oh, what if it just like, goes down? And then yeah, so in that sense, have absolutely zero risk management. Never thought about the downside, never thought about things like what's the risk to reward ratio for this particular investment. I if I enter now, like am I entering at high? Am I just buying in because like price is giving me conviction rather than the project itself? And then like those are bad things, right? Like you're entering at a place where your downside is much greater than uh, whoever else has entered before you because simply because they were much earlier, right? So for them, their downside is lower. Like let's say they enter at like $2 and you enter at like $8, for example, and let's say the price goes down $1, you are definitely losing how much more percentage wise compared to them. So yeah, that's what I mean by the downside by being early. And yeah, it was things that I never really considered. And then another point I'd like to add also would be echo chambers. I think especially in crypto, I think it's really hard to like actually have communities like that in crypto compared to TradFi and stuff. I'm not sure whether Tesla people or like Apple or whatever, there people are like screaming that it's gonna go to the moon or it's gonna go to like $500 a share or something. But like then they will be like discussing that every day and stuff. But like in crypto, like it's quite special because we all, or rather all projects have like Telegram groups or Discords. So you will actually be able to discuss with other community members, right? But then that actually gives rise or possibly gives rise to a echo chamber. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody, or rather majority of the chat might be saying, oh, it's gonna go up today or tomorrow, or like it's gonna go $1,000, $10,000. And then it's easy to get caught up in that and not recognize that, like as I mentioned previously, everybody's entry is different, everybody's downside is different. So a lot of these guys, like while they might be saying things like, though it goes 100x, 1000x, and perhaps they legit believe in it, but perhaps they really think it will happen. But back then I didn't know, or rather I didn't realize that since everybody's entry is different, and if you get caught up in a echo chamber, you don't actually realize that, let's say it doesn't hit their target and it does go back down, they actually losing, like they are possibly losing less money than you do. So in that sense, it's very bad to be caught up in the echo chamber, and you need to be thinking for yourself, based on your own entry rather than just following what others say, because everybody's risk profile is different, as well as everybody's entry into that specific project is also different. So yeah, echo chambers, really bad thing. And yeah, I wish my younger self knew about that.
Right. Awesome. Super relevant, super useful for anyone listening in for the next cycle as well. All right then. I mean, to end off, right? Could you give me three names, right, for guest nominations to come on the podcast in future? Like, who would you wanna see come on?
Yeah, so I would like to nominate Kodov, my friend. He's very good at analyzing fundamentals of crypto projects. Secondly, I would like to nominate Crypto Yusaku. He's really good at finding very early gems and especially at proof of work projects, which I think it's quite a good niche and not a lot of people specialize in that. And lastly, I would also like to invite my friend Crypto Distilled. He's really good at analyzing projects as well as very good at analyzing AI projects like OLAS. And yeah.
All right, really great names there, right? And really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share all your insights with us. Thank you once again, and thank you to the listeners for tuning in to this episode, right? We will see you in the next episode. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Before you go, do remember to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you never miss a thing. Comment down below what you liked about this episode, who you like me to interview next, or any topics that you want to learn more about. Until next time, this is Moose moving out.